to go places. If COVID taught us anything, it's just to take the trip.
Take a trip.
Take the trip.
Enjoy it, right? And get out of your house and the comfort zone and just explore. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Grow Podcast. And today we have Jennifer McGuire with Clever Compass Travel Agency. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm so thrilled to be here.
Yes, thank you for coming on. So we're going to dive right in. But before we get to the travel stuff, I kind of want to know a little bit more about you. So where are you from? Just tell me a little bit about you.
Well, do you have a couple hours?
We can make it as long as you want.
I've lived in the Rockwall area for about 9 years.
Okay.
Before that, we moved around quite a bit. We lived in Oklahoma, and then my son was actually born in Des Moines, Iowa. So we have moved around a little bit. I have a degree in biology. That's something that you probably wouldn't really, really expect. And I did use it for a little while. But once I had kids, I had a small business where I made decals from the Wylie cutting machine, and I sold those on Etsy. So that was what I did before travel, and wanted to find something new, and had been kind of interested in the travel sphere, and decided to look for a host agency, and stumbled into Fora, and it's been a great fit.
Nice. So how did you go from majoring and having a degree in biology to travel?
Yeah, that's a lot. We could probably talk about it for a couple of hours, but I've always fallen into interesting jobs.
Okay.
So after college, I worked for optometrists, and then I worked for a LASIK eye center where I helped assist in LASIK
Which
eye
one?
surgery. TLC Laser Eye Centers in Oklahoma City. That's been a long time ago. And then I had a job as a recovery technician for cornea transplants.
Okay.
So when someone passes away and has told their family that they want to be a donor, I would go and actually physically remove the cornea from the donor, and then we prepare it for a surgeon to use in cornea transplants.
Oh, wow. That's pretty interesting, what people can donate, what organs now can be donated, right? I'm sure that's grown with technology and medicine advancement and things like that. So traveled, you're... moved around a little bit, so it kind of fits in with what you do now, right?
Yeah.
Is that where you got your passion from?
I think my passion from travel has stemmed from being married to someone with family all over the United States.
Okay. Yeah.
My husband has 8 siblings.
Oh, wow.
And they all live all across the U.S. And my parents were always good about taking us on a summer trip.
Yeah.
That was typically a road trip because we lived in southwestern Kansas, and you really couldn't get to an airport very easily. So we would always take a really fantastic summer trip. And then once I met my husband, we decided for our honeymoon to go to Ireland.
Okay.
And I married the right person because he made a spreadsheet of our trip.
It sounds like my wife. She loves spreadsheets in our business.
And so just having that experience and then traveling around with him and then wanting to take our family traveling kind of has grown my passion for helping my kids see places that we've never seen.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
Also people would say, "Hey, Jen, how was your trip to Maine? And what did you guys do there?" And so I was getting questions, and I thought, I could probably help more people figure out where they want to go or give them tips if I was a travel advisor.
Awesome. And so you said you've been doing that now 9 years as a travel advisor, or?
Not 9 years. We've lived in Rockwall.
Lived in Rockwall for 9 years.
No,
okay.
It's been under a year.
Under a year. Awesome. Well, so with joining into the travel agency part, what has been the pros and the cons of becoming a travel expert and, helping others figure it out?
Yeah. For me, it's finding all the places I want to go. That's the hard part. Now I have it lined up.
It's like with real estate, right? When I'm showing other clients houses, it's like, ooh, I love this house. And I was like, I wonder if we can move here. Same probably with travel, right?
Same
You're like,
with travel.
you want to go where?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I think I want to go there too.
We should move here. That's exactly how it is. And then some of the challenges are just people's expectation. Travel has become pretty expensive. I don't know if you've looked. Flights are what they are. I can't control the flight prices. Hotels have become a lot more expensive. So just kind of the sticker shock is a little bit of a hard thing to overcome, but people want to go places. If COVID taught us anything, it's just to take the
Yeah,
trip.
take a trip,
Take the trip.
enjoy it, right? And get
Yeah.
out of your house and the comfort zone and just explore. So, like you said, you don't control flights, you don't
Mhm.
control sometimes hotel sticker prices. So, tell me, what are the benefits of hiring a travel agent like yourself to help me figure out where I want to go and where to stay and
Absolutely.
things like that?
That's a great question. So I would first want to have a conversation with you. The
Okay.
benefit about working with a travel advisor is personalized service.
Yeah.
I would listen to your wants and your needs and how you guys like to travel. If you know where you want to go, but you've never been there, maybe I have great ideas on what the travel flow should be. Oh, when you first arrive, you might want to do this. And secondly, once you get to your hotel, you might want to just relax. And
Yeah.
so it's having someone personalize your travel. And we can also offer perks with some of our hotel partners. I'm going to give you an example because I was just at this fabulous hotel in Uptown Dallas.
Okay.
Perks like $100 in food and beverage credit, or
Oh,
early
wow.
early check-in, late checkout, free Wi-Fi, free breakfast for two. This was the Hotel Swexen. It's very, very nice. So that would be something like you may never want to stay there because it's, but if you had a special occasion, maybe you and Diana have a nice anniversary you want to plan, a little staycation. Hey, Jen, we'd like to look at the hotels that we might be able to
Yeah.
have added value.
Got it. So that brought up a good point because a lot of people think when you travel, you have to go miles away. You have to spend tons of money. But like you said, you can always have a staycation. It's okay going down the street to downtown, right? We're in
Absolutely.
Wylie, so how often do we go downtown and find these nice hotels that have probably been revamped, remodeled, renovated? And I guess sometimes you don't know the perks, right? You don't ever hear of these boutiques or these very nice hotels that say we offer this XYZ, and that's where you come in handy, right? You know
Absolutely.
these perks, you know these benefits of staying there, and so that's awesome. I've never really thought of that, right?
Yeah.
Just maybe a weekend staycation versus having to go overseas or anything like that. So
Right. Yeah. It's an investment in your time and your money. And so working with a travel advisor is putting all of that into more value.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So what do you see is the timing? It's 2024, right? We just started spring. Where are people going to right now?
People want to go to Greece. They want to go to Italy. They want to go to Paris. Although I probably wouldn't suggest going to Paris this summer
Okay, why?
because of the Olympics. That's where they're hosting. Yeah.
Oh, and see, that's the other thing too, where you come in handy as a travel agent because you know of all the big events. Like I wouldn't even realize. I don't watch the news often, so I wouldn't even realize that the
Right.
Olympics are going to be there, and
Right.
maybe.
I would steer you away from Paris this summer, but it would be a great place to visit maybe in the fall. What we like to call the shoulder season is
Oh,
when travel isn't always as popular in the areas. Like everybody wants to go to Greece. During the summer, you might have to wait in lines to get on a ferry to go to the island. So listen to your travel advisor and they'll tell you the best time to go.
and I never really thought of that too because you also realize when the peak seasons are and
Hmm.
when it's like, when we went to Disney, we didn't use a travel agent and we just kind of booked it ourselves and went. And if we didn't ask friends about the whole lightning pass or whatever that is to kind of skip some lines or whatever, we probably would have been able only to ride two things,
Right.
right? And then your day's gone waiting in lines or things like that. So,
Right. Disney is a special beast. Like, we're a one and done Disney family, and I have such admiration for Disney travel planners. Its own language. I can definitely help with Disney, but that's not my preference because it is such a specialized trip. And like you said, if you didn't have someone telling you how to do the things, it would be really hard to enjoy it.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
same with other locations too.
So what is your ideal client? Who do you like to, like you said, Disney, you can help people, but it's not your specialty. So what do you want? What is your niche or your specialty?
Yeah, I love family travel. I love helping people get to places that they haven't seen before, outdoors, the national parks, the Caribbean, Hawaii.
Okay.
We're going to Europe this summer, but I have not personally been anywhere besides Ireland. So Although I could definitely help with Europe travel,
Yeah.
I'm not exactly an expert.
Yeah. Well, you got to understand, right? As a travel agent, you know, if you're one to say, "Oh, I've been there," right? You spend most of your time traveling, which is great. But
Hmm.
no, the everyday person doesn't. Even as a travel agent, you can't go experience everywhere because then it's like you're always traveling. I mean, traveling, like you said, is expensive at the end of
Yeah.
the day. And so, but you can still help with all that. You can still plan with all because you're doing the research, you're doing the due diligence behind things, right? For somebody who hires you.
Right. And the great thing about my host agency, which is For a Travel, is we have advisors all around the globe, and I can go in and ask a question. Hey, what would you think about this flow for the itinerary? And they may say, that looks good, or actually, have you considered doing this? So I have peers that I can talk to about the places that I've never been.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite sayings is, I can't be an expert at everything, but I can be resourceful. So,
Ooh, yeah, I like that. See, most people think they have to be experts at everything, and it's, in all honesty, if people say they're the expert at everything, it's like, are you really? How do you become an expert at everything? You
yeah, I
can't,
don't
but
think
you can
that's
be
possible.
resourceful, like you put it, and
Absolutely.
and like even in real estate, right? In real estate, it's like, do I know everything? No, I can help you. Guess what? I'll be resourceful and find out the answer to help you through this journey or transition, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I like the way you put that. So, where's been your most favorite place to travel?
That's hard because I have so many fantastic places that I visited. I did mention a couple last week, I think, that we had a wonderful trip to Maine, which
Oh,
I was really impressed with Maine. Plus, we went in the summer, so here in Dallas, it was like 110 degrees
yeah.
and it was 78 for the high in Maine. So that was really nice. But we did this fantastic night hike where we hiked up Cadillac Mountain. And I didn't expect that to be something that I would enjoy, but it was absolutely a
Yeah.
blast. We got up to the peak of Cadillac Mountain where you watch the sunrise, which is one of the first spots in the US to see the sunrise because of its easterly
Okay.
area. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was really fun. And of course, our honeymoon was fantastic in Ireland, but it's been 20 years, so we need to go back.
Yeah. There you go. Now, is it a myth or a bust? So for like my mindset, when I think travel, I think let's go to, Cancun or Playa del Carmen just because we get more bang for our buck, and maybe not just traveling to Maine or within the States. Like, is that a thing where going abroad, yes, you do get more bang for your buck, or are there still other places in the States that you're like, no, you can go over here probably for the same and have a great time too?
That's a great question. I think it's all about your expectation.
Okay.
I think if you don't mind finding someplace new, you can do it within budget. If you like the same thing, then that's okay too. There are some fantastic places to visit. Like I said, in the shoulder season, Portugal is a great place to go. That's budget friendly. Oregon is a wonderful place to go to take your kids to see the
Yeah.
outdoors, but also relatively budget friendly.
So when we're booking experiences with you and trips with you, as a professional, how do you watch or gauge the market to know when is the right time to book it? Or like if should I be booking a trip to Greece or Italy, not this year, but maybe next year
Sure.
now? Or like what is the time frame you suggest for people to start planning or looking at prices and booking
My
for when they
number
want to
one
make the trip?
My number one tip for that is to get on Google Flight Tracker,
Oh, okay.
sign up for the area that you want to go. You can sign up for as many airports as you want to check the prices and then just kind of watch what things do. Like I get notifications just for clients or for myself for flights. And when they dip, I'm like, hey, this is a great time to go. Um, and then as far as hotels, it's hard to say
Okay.
because their prices are dynamic. But definitely try not to travel during the holiday season. That's when things are most expensive. And of course, during the summer, that's when the kids are free and they wanna travel. But again, try traveling in the shoulder season.
Yeah.
Take a week out in January and go somewhere new.
I've always heard that if you book a flight, book it like at midnight or 1 a.m. Is that a myth? Because it's cheaper or more affordable at that time. I'm like, man, I don't want to wait till
No,
midnight to stay up.
I've also heard they're cheaper on a Tuesday, but I haven't put that sign. I'm not really sure. But if you have those kinds of alerts, from Google Flight Tracker, then you're going to know.
Yeah. So a family of 4 like myself, what are some tips you can give me to start the planning stage, or what should we, if we want to go somewhere, what are some tips you can give us?
I think you have to be realistic about your budget.
Okay.
And to think about, okay, this is my all in, this is my flight, this is my hotel, this is our excursion. Let your travel planner know. Kind of give them a general idea, give me a general idea of where you want to see and what your travel style is. And that I can take that into consideration and kind of say, okay, well, I don't know that you could get to Greece on this budget, but let's look at this area. I would just be honest.
Yeah. How do you deal with couples? Because I deal with this in the real estate where husband and wife, partners or spouses, they are on 2 different spectrums of where they want to go or what they like to do. Like in the house, it's like one's like, I want a 4-bedroom no matter what. And then the spouse is like, no, 3 bedrooms, fine. And I'm like, hold on, y'all have to come to some type of agreement to make my job a little easier when it comes to buying a home, right?
Sure.
So how do you navigate partners or families who have all want to do different things?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Well, just like, in our own relationship, you have those debates. I think just having phone conversations really with both parties involved, because there's so much that can be lost through an email. Just sitting down and saying, I hear you're kind of not agreeing on this. Here are the benefits of this location. Here are the benefits of that location. And then you just kind of have to let them decide, because I don't want to make the decision for them.
Same here, right? I tell them all the time, like, guys, you have to come to an agreement of what's okay. I'll give you the options, and then you come to me, and then we'll finalize it. We'll strategize or whatever it is to make both parties happy, right? Because at the end of the day, it's tough, right? And whatnot. So
Yeah.
What did you learn in college life, earning your degree, that has helped you be a travel agent or a business owner?
Being organized. I love the learning process too. I love learning about new locations. So having that knowledge, I like to share it. And so that, I think, is a great way to communicate with your clients. Did you know that if you go to Greece this summer, you're going to be waiting in line? Stuff like that. Like, just having that knowledge base is, and disseminating the information in a way that's clear.
Yeah. How do you stay on top of the market as far as, like you said, I would have never known, like, if you're going to Greece this year, why is Greece so popular? Like, how do you stay on these market trends where you're aware of, hey, this is what's happening. Everybody's booking Greece this summer or whatnot. So how are you staying on top of it?
Luckily, Fora, my host agency, is fantastic about training, keeping us updated on things. Other agents will go on our portal and say, this is what my clients are experiencing. This was the trend from last year. There was a ferry strike one year, and you just have to be kind of on top of it. You just kind of like any,
in the industry, you got to study the market, right?
Yeah.
And the great thing is you do it full time, right? And so you're able to stay on top of it, right? And a lot of times, I tell people all the time, and there's no shot at realtors or business owners who do things, side hustles, right? That's the new word. Everybody's on a side hustle, right? People want to do it. But when you are on top of the market of whatever your industry is in, that's how you become the expert, or that's how you become a resource to your clients, right? And know majority of the things that other people wouldn't know.
Right.
So where are you seeing everybody book this season? Let's say if I haven't booked anything, right? We usually go on a summer vacation.
Yeah.
Where, other than Italy, because you said it was right? Is it Italy? The Olympics?
Oh, that's in Paris.
Paris.
Yeah,
okay, Paris.
That's okay.
So Paris, because of the Olympics. Where are some other places maybe to avoid this year because of who knows what, right?
Yeah. Places to, I don't want to say places to avoid. Popular places, but worthwhile places.
Better way of putting it, yeah.
Costa Rica is really on the upswing, which I'm excited to hopefully go there someday.
My wife and I had our honeymoon in Costa Rica years ago. I mean, this was 11 years ago, 10 years ago is when we had the honeymoon trip. And we went to Costa Rica and we loved it. We went to Guanacaste and it was beautiful. We did like rapids and zip lines and rainforest stuff. It was awesome. We loved Costa Rica, and I'm surprised you didn't say that because it's become popular.
It has become popular.
Yeah.
I see a lot of talk about Costa Rica. I would say think about weather trends too.
Okay.
You don't want to travel to the Caribbean when it's hurricane season. Or take a cruise necessarily. And if you do, it's okay if you do, but I would look into travel insurance, because if you pay a deposit and then something happens and it gets canceled and it's non-refundable,
Yeah.
you're going to have some
And
recourse.
that's a great way you put it because of the weather, right? Different seasons. Because when we travel to Cancun, we've gone during like the summer because obviously kids are off, but then it's
Right.
gonna rain half of the day or for 2 or 3 hours, and we didn't know that until we experienced it because we didn't use a travel agent, right? But you help us with those now. Not trends, but weather patterns, and say, hey, you sure you want to go there? You may want to get the insurance, or you're going to expect to stay in your hotel room because it's
Right.
going to be XYZ.
Right.
And it happened again to us when we went to Cabo one year, and we didn't know about that during obviously hurricane season, right?
Yeah.
And then we just see the waves are horrible. You can't get in the water because the cruises are coming in, and then it was a hurricane coming up, and we're like, holy crap, we did not know this. We should have
Yeah.
planned for it.
And that's another thing too. When you travel, you have to roll with the punches, because obviously no one else can control the weather, and
Yeah.
you can't control. I did read something recently that a lot of people are traveling to Japan for the cherry blossom season, which sounds amazing. So is everyone else.
Yeah.
So when you get there, you might run into several other tourists. And I think people were disappointed about that. But you have to realize expectations are there's also going to be other people there. It's not just your trip. It's a high season to go because of such beautiful cherry blossoms.
Yeah. So expectations are a lot, right? Like you said, especially with your all-in budget, the range you're wanting to spend on flights and, hotel accommodations and your excursions. Can you say, or do you have an idea for a family of four? I'm going to use myself as an example. If we want to go to a beach, what, with today's market trends, what anticipated budget should we start planning for or start putting aside to have a great time for, let's say, 5 days?
That's a great question. And I would say, let's say 5 to 7 days for a family of four at a beach location with flights. You're looking at about 10,000.
10,000. Yeah. And like she said, she doesn't control the airline. Sorry, everybody, but she doesn't control airlines. And we've seen that uptick, right? Just with everything else and inflation in the market and things like that, which sounds about right, for a family of four. And that's to have a great time and whatnot. So what is your most favorite excursion wherever you've been to?
That's a great question. We were recently in Key West.
Okay.
On a cruise, and I did a bike tour of the island, and that was really fun. We had a great tour guide who talked about the history of the island and got to, get a little bit of exercise in.
Yeah.
Got to see Hemingway's cats because I'm a cat person, and all of them have 6 toes. So
6 toes.
I was like the designated cat lady, and
Yeah.
that was really fun. All of our trips have had fantastic excursions.
So what do you like to do when you go book a vacation? Is it more outdoor excursions? Is it more museums and sightseeing? Like what do you like to book?
I love that question. I'm a little bit of everything, but my favorite thing to do is food tours. I love a good food tour. Usually they talk about history, they talk about architecture, they talk about food, which is fun. But just walking around a new city and eating, that's like the best time.
So I have foodie friends, okay? So before we wrap up, if you're a foodie and you go on where do you see a food tour best served? Is it going to like Paris or Italy, or is it somewhere here in the States? Like, where do you see as a foodie somebody should go and try?
Oh, that's a great question too. My last food tour was in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
And I thought it was fantastic. We had mostly, our first trip to New York, we mostly spent on Manhattan. But then we ventured out to Brooklyn and we had the best time.
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend that. I mean, anywhere you go, there's good food, I feel. So just look into that. I have great resources for food tours. So, yeah.
So there you go. Julian, I'm talking to you.
That's
When you
right.
watch this, you got to hit her up because you're Mr. Foodie here in the Garland, North Texas area. Awesome. So is there anything that you want to tell our audience before we wrap up as far as when they're getting ready to book, to contact you and stuff, what do they need to do?
I think, of course, the budget is always a consideration. Just kind of having an idea of how you want to spend your time because it is an investment. You're taking time off of work, you're leaving town. If you just want relaxation, that's what you should tell me.
Yeah.
If you want to see cultural things or if you want to experience a city for the first time, then you might want to do some fun tours. Let me know that too.
Cool. And, back to the question about a family of four beach vacation, right? 10 grand. Do you also offer different type of payment plans, or is that, hey, Matt, you need to pay me 10 grand when we book it? Like, what are some of the options to help it, for the general public like me to be a little bit easier on the finance side of things for it?
Yeah, sure. There are options for payment plans. We work with a few suppliers who can package flight and resort as a unit, and they offer payment plans.
Cool.
If I'm working with a client who wants a complete itinerary from front door all the way back home, that's a little bit more of my time, right? And I have a menu of services where I can tell you this is going to take me however many hours to develop your itinerary, and I have a option for paying for my my planning fee.
Yeah.
So it just depends on your needs, right?
Cool. Well, if anybody's looking to travel, how can they get a hold of you?
You can reach me at my email address, which is jennifer.mcguire@fora.travel, or my website, which is clevercompasstravel.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. If you're looking to travel, whether it's in the States, whether it's down the street or across overseas, be sure to give Jennifer a call. And thank you for being here today. We appreciate it.
I have one more tip.
Yes.
We live in DFW.
Oh, yeah.
We live near an airport that offers international travel. And I just want to encourage you to take advantage of that because not everybody does. And it's easy to hop on a flight and get to somewhere in 2 hours.
Yeah, quickly. And that's the great thing about living in North Texas.
It is.
By an international airport because, you said you grew up, you were in
Southwest Kansas.
And you were not close to a airport. And so it was always road trips versus that.
Yes.
So guys, take advantage of that. But be
Please.
sure to give Jennifer a call for all your vacation needs or staycation needs as well.
That's right.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.